Okay, here we are on Instagram Live, and I'm very excited because I'm trying to start sort of an interview series, which I've been thinking about for quite some time, with people sort of give to others in some way or another. It could be a small gesture, a big gesture, it could be a huge nonprofit, just somebody opening the door for someone, or someone who started Stand Up to Cancer. It could be the biggest or smallest, and what that means to them and how that helps them move forward through this world. And we have our first guest. And when I caught wind of her, I knew I wanted her to be my first guest, and I'm very excited. And she's also going to be interviewing me too. So this is a unique first one, and it's going to be Chelsea Phaire of Chelsea's Charity. She's a 10-year-old girl. I caught wind of her somehow on the internet, reached out immediately, said, I'd love to collaborate. Let me know if there's anything I could do for you. And I had this in mind that I would interview her at some point, and her mom reached out and we set it up. And what Chelsea's Charity does is she gets art supplies donated, and she makes these art kits and gets them to underprivileged kids or anyone who may not have access to art supplies so that they can paint or draw. And I just find this tremendous on multiple levels. And we'll get into it. And I think she's going to call me soon. So here she comes, Chelsea. I'm fangirling. I'm freaking. Technical difficulties here. Let's call Aram from the blacklist to figure it out. That was really dumb. A little bit more about Chelsea. I think one thing that I know, which she may talk about, is that she was gifted a really fancy art supply set, and she was so excited. And I think her mom or one of her parents said, be careful with that. That's a really special art supply. Not everyone gets to have that. And she was like, not every kid gets to have art? Well, that's not right. That's not fair. And immediately started this thing where she started putting together art kits to send to kids that might not get them. And it just grew and grew and grew from there. So let's try to get her online here one more time. Okay.
Okay, hi. Welcome to our Instagram Live. Now, today is not a regular chat with Chelsea. It is actually the other way around. We have a really special friend who I'm really excited to meet coming. And his name is Mr. Amir from the Blacklist. And I just can't wait to meet him. I'm bubbling over the top. I'm like a tea kettle getting ready to burst. And I just have all that steam of excitement. I'm so excited. Oh, he's here.
Hi!
Oh, finally it worked!
Yes. So I just heard that last part. You're a tea kettle about to burst?
Yes, I'm a tea kettle about to burst.
How do you do that? Can you interpret that?
So you know how tea kettles have all that steam, and
Yes.
they burst, and they're like, that's me right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I think that's me inside, because I just told my Instagram followers that I'm fangirling to meet you. I'm freaking out.
Aww.
I've been trying to start an interview series with people that inspire by doing some kind of giving or donating gesture, and how good that feels, and that you can heal yourself by healing others. And that's sort of the concept of my series. And when I caught wind of you, I knew I wanted you to be my first guest. And I'm honored to be your guest at the same time.
Thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
just had a brilliant idea. What if it's like Amir's amazing area? Like an area where you can have different guests? It can be like
Amir's-
3 in one thing.
I actually like, that's the alliteration, AAA, Amir's amazing area. I like it. The only thing that I'm concerned about, that it sounds a little like too much like I like myself. Amir's amazing. So
Yeah.
I'll look, can maybe I'll take more ideas. So if you want to write some ideas down, I would love some more ideas.
Okay, let me just write that down.
Yeah, homework. Yes, important. So I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
All right. So before you got that art supply, were you a fan of making art and doing art? And when we say art, you mean drawing and painting, correct?
Yes, I love the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've always have since I was little. So I'm just doing some fan art of the 4 elements and the characters: Team Avatar, Aang, Toph, Katara, Zuko, and Appa. I've
That's
been doing
amazing.
watercolors. I just find it soothing. I've learned to
So
avoid the
you're
sun.
ready. You're ready with your demonstrations. That's fantastic.
Yes, and the
I can
last
demonstrate
one.
acting. I can do voices if you need me. No, I'm just kidding. All right. No, this
Really,
is
I want to see that.
no. I don't want to embarrass myself.
It's okay. Well, I won't force you to do something you don't want to do.
Thank you for that. I think I'm apparently more shy than you are on this interview. And so before you started Chelsea's Charity, you were doing art in school? Did you have art
Yes.
classes?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. They just told us to do something and like we had to draw it. It wasn't really hands-on art. So I used to get in so much trouble because I would like doodle all these different book series. And I would take my notebook and I would secretly hide the covers in my notebook and I'd be drawing and pretending I was writing. And I got in so much trouble for doodling all the time. Don't worry, I have good grades, but I got in so much trouble for always like painting on my stuff. And so, yeah, I've always loved art since the time I could hold a crayon.
You know, when I was your age, I used to get in a lot of trouble because I would like jump up and make jokes when the teacher would leave the room and do different sort of, I don't know. I was just maybe I don't know if I was like seeking attention or I liked getting laughs, but and my grades were okay too. And look where it led us. We're doing what we always wanted to do.
Yeah,
So
my
it's so
friend. Oh, sorry.
no, don't be sorry. This is the floor is yours.
My friend, when the teacher left the room and the aides left the room too, like if someone was in trouble, he would go to the center of the classroom and shake his butt, be like, no teacher in the classroom, and then he always got caught. I felt so bad for him.
So what I just took from that story is that you felt so bad for him, which means you have at your young age an innate sense of empathy. And
Yes,
that's something I want, you know the word empathy, right? Obviously. Yeah.
yes.
So it's something I wanted to talk about. I like to talk about, I'm curious about that seed of empathy, where that came from when you got that art supply kit and, you know, your mom or your dad said, you know, be careful, not every kid gets to have that. And you were like, why not? And it really bothered you and you
Yeah.
wanted to make sure where did that come from? Where do you think that feeling started? Or how did you get to that concept? Because not every kid is like that. Not every human is like that.
I don't really know. Like when I was 5 and I started, well, I've always loved Sesame Street, and Sesame Street was teaching me to be kind when I was really little, like 11 months old. So I guess Sesame Street kind of helped.
Sesame Street is pretty
Kind of
great
helped
like
shape
that.
that like play.
Yeah, like clay. Good metaphor. So there's really two reasons I wanted to interview. I'm geeking out. I'm excited because I really believe that art has the power to heal.
Yes.
And so I'm a real big advocate. It's a lot of, you know, different nonprofits I support are about arts access and education to those who may not have access to art, just like you. Yeah, yeah. But I do it through acting and teaching acting and so forth because that's my craft. That's what I know best. So I, you know, sometimes I go into inner city. I actually decided to wear one of the nonprofits I work for, Broadway for All, to help kids that don't always have access to acting programs and go do master classes or teach them theater kids how to do acting on camera. I see you thinking. I see
You
you
teach
thinking.
theater?
I sort of teach theater. I teach acting, usually like theater kids on camera stuff. But so yeah, well,
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
well, the thing is, that's very interesting because when I get older, I want to be the next Beyonce, dye my afro, have pink and have blue, and become a famous actress. So you say you teach acting, right?
All right, so I'm going to call you out a little bit. I don't think you should be the next Beyonce.
Why?
I think Beyonce should want to be the next Chelsea.
Aww, nice.
That's how you got
When
to
this
think.
is over, I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna
That's
tell her
a,
that you said
but
that.
that is seriously how you should start thinking. Like no one is charting your path, and every artist charts an original path. And making art, nobody did those paintings. Nobody's done Beyonce songs except Beyonce. Nobody's done the roles I've done. So I think you are inspiring a whole army of people to do good. And clearly Beyonce's inspired you. So that's amazing. I want to say
Oh,
so
thank you.
one other thing that you said that I want to jump on. And it's not to criticize. I don't really love the word famous. I think there's a reason the word exists, but I feel famous is a little bit of a trap. If someone becomes an actor or a singer or an artist to be famous, well, then it won't work. Because if your goal is just attention, it'll fall apart. Maybe you can get attention, but it'll fall apart. It is the love of drawing or painting or singing or performing which
Yeah.
will carry you and set you free, I feel like. And then no matter what happens, whether you get, it's sort of far along in your career where you have a lot of fans or followers, that's a bonus. So like your drawing, like doesn't drawing feel good even if nobody sees it?
Yes, because it's something I love.
You get it, Chelsea. You get it. I don't know how you get it so young. You just get it. So arts access and education, which you naturally are doing for others, and also the power of art to heal. So I'm curious, have you been through anything or any challenges or troubles yourself, whereas drawing or painting or even giving, either one has helped you, or both has helped you sort of deal with the world or deal with any challenges or obstacles?
Yes, I had faced a lot of some big bullying situations, and I felt really insecure for like the entire school year, 2 entire school years, and I couldn't take it anymore, and so instead of doing something I might regret, I just ran to my sketchbook and I wrote new books, new graphic novels, wrote new plays. I played with my dolls, and like I used to pretend my dolls were like a crowd, and I would like sing to them like I was at my own concert. So music is a type of art. So like I just did all art, paintings, drawings, cartoons, singing, acting, all that stuff. And art just makes me feel good. When my grandfather died, that hit me very hard on my heart. So I actually drew him a picture in my sketchbook and I folded it up. And when I got to the funeral, I put it in his pocket. And my mommy says that he always looks at it when he goes to bed at night in heaven.
Come on, Chelsea. You can't. My first interview. You're. I mean, that's it. I don't know how we top that. I hope everybody can hear that and listen to this. That's sort of my. That's it's amazing. I agree on every level. That's really, really impressive. I think you said a few things in there that I want to grab onto. One, you don't want to do something you regret because you were hurt or upset, you got bullied. Bullies, man. And you got me. You got me. And I think thank you. I feel it. Virtual COVID-19 hub. So you set yourself free by working on your craft. Now, there was Lester Bangs, who was a famous rock critic from the movie Almost Famous, which you're too young to see, but down the line you get to see it. And he wrote that all great art comes from heartbreak. So it's a great way of channeling. Like, I know that I've had like a really hard time sometimes, and then I go to the theater or I go on set where I have a job, and you have to put all that away and focus on my craft. And so I just felt that, art has the ability to carry something bigger than ourselves. And,
Yes.
I would love to see some of those. I would love to, sometimes even on set, or if someone's being rude or maybe even borderline being a bully, I find sometimes that this is one of the reasons I like being an actor, that it helps me even focus. Like, nothing's going to shake me off of like my work and my focus and the material. Yeah. Woo. And the material. And yes. I don't have both my hands because I'm holding the phone, but yes. So yeah, I'm off tangent here. You threw me off. That was a great answer. So I'm happy to hear that. And I hope those bullies get stopped in their tracks. And, what happened to them?
Well, they didn't really get in that much trouble. I don't want them to get stopped in their tracks. I want them to realize their mistakes, and I want them to, maybe I want to go confront them one day and bring art to them. So if they are bullying me because they are sad inside about something or something's bothering them, I want to give them art kits so they can express themselves so they don't hurt other people like that anymore.
Who are you? Who are you? You were born with a little Buddha inside, or a Jesus, or some God is in you.
Thank
You're like a
you.
little prophet, but don't let it get to your head. And don't
I
try to
will
be
never do
okay.
that.
You know what? This is okay. We're skipping way ahead. You're ahead of the game. So let me skip to this. Like, so you started Chelsea's charity,
Yes,
and for those who don't know, it's gaining a lot of traction. You were even on Amazon, did a special called On Regular Heroes about frontline
yes,
workers and people who are making a change. And I read that you had made 850 art kits before the pandemic and about 1,700 since. I'm imagining it's more than that because
yes.
that's what. How many is it now?
It's like almost 3,000. It's like 2,900, or between like 2,900 and 2,800. I'm not sure the exact number. My mommy does all the math, but we're almost at the 300 mark.
The 3,000 mark or the 300 mark?
3,000 mark.
The 3,000 mark. So you have made close to 3,000 art kits for those who did not have art kits before. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you needed to raise money for your charity to help with shipping costs. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Because
It was actually funded in the beginning by me. Any couch money I found and called dibs on, any washing machine money, my whole entire life savings, my tooth fairy money, and I lost a lot of teeth. I lost 13, and I have 3 more wiggly ones. And I gave up all of that money to fund Children's Charity because I really didn't want to put funding on my parents because they keep a roof over my head. They give me toys and love. So I didn't want to put that on them. So I helped raise money, and my family was like, okay, you gave $100 of your life savings. I'll match that and give you 205. And that's kind of how it started. And then for my 10th birthday, instead of asking for gifts, I asked for art supplies so I could get my first 40 art kits going, and it just kind of picked up from there.
may I ask the net worth of your life savings?
uh, well, my whole life savings that I
It was like
didn't spend, that I was saving up,
you don't
was
have
like
to answer that if you don't want
it
to.
was like $500.
$500 of all your life savings, and that's tooth fairy money, allowance.
I don't get an allowance at all. I have to work for my money. And so I worked at my dad's barber shop. I learned to cut my brother's hair and give him a skin fade and all that good stuff. So
Nice.
I worked at my dad's barber shop for quite some time to get enough money to help start Chelsea's charity.
So how do you know that you want to start and give the hard-earned money? That's amazing that you've had these jobs as a young kid. It's a great. I think everybody should start working in some way or level. It's just there's nothing. My mom taught me there's nothing like the value of earning your own dollar. It feels really good, and then you can do whatever you want with it, like start a charity. Now, what happens if you want to get a new backpack or something that you might want to get that you've always wanted to get, Beyonce's new single or something, which I guess is free on the internet. I don't know. Um, Instead, you chose to take that money and put it towards the charity. How did you make that decision to kind of give the money that you earned for yourself to others?
Well, I mean, I thought in my eyes that was the only way I could get started. And I pretty much have all I've ever wanted, all I've ever needed. I have my keyboard, I have my regular piano, I have my family and friends. So I didn't, even if I wanted something, I don't really need it per se. But there's some kids out there who really need art. And I don't want to use my hard-earned money for personal gain. I'd rather use it to help others because in my eyes, that's way better than any toy I could ever get.
Okay, you're crushing it as my first guest, by the way. You're crushing it.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so there's a couple things you just said in there that were amazing too. It seems like you've naturally cultivated gratitude, which is the other thing I think is sort of a way forward, is sort of healing, giving and gratitude. And at your young age, you realize you have everything you need in abundance. I think probably the best that you have is, not to sound cheesy, But you sounds like you have a ton of love in your life from your family and your
Oh,
friends.
definitely.
I
My
always
mom's
said, your mom, go ahead.
my mom's in the other room over there, but I definitely shout her out a lot. She stays up so late at night to work on my website and all this stuff. So she's definitely appreciated. So is my whole family. So yes, 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 yes. My
I
heart is full of love for my parents.
Me too. I feel like I learned everything from my parents. You are very, very fortunate. I know you know that, but you're extremely fortunate to have the support of your family because truly not everybody can get that,
Mm,
and that's not somebody. That's not something people choose. So it's
yeah,
pretty great.
thank
Okay,
you.
so I feel like I've asked you. I mean, I could talk more and more. I guess one last question. I'm curious. It's a little off topic, but how have you dealt with? Suddenly you've been on TV, and the word is getting out about your charity, which is amazing. It's exploding. I mean, it's only going to help more kids, and you're only going to help more people. But how have you dealt with all the attention, and how has that affected you in school and with your time, and just personally? How does it feel to kind of become? I don't like the word famous, but more publicly known.
Hmm. Well, I my at school, the kids didn't really thought I was a goody two shoes, and they've usually always thought that of me, and they were kind of jealous, I think, but they treated me kind of worse because of it. But I got to meet new people. I made new friends. I got new experiences. The publicity,
Yeah,
the
you said it right.
publicity is great because now I can reach the homes of more kids and give them more art. And I'm thinking in the future about giving food, maybe.
Oh, Chelsea's
Then,
charity is going to expand.
yes,
I think that's amazing.
thank
Um,
you.
so it seems like the haters will hate. It's that's part of life. It's not easy. Not everyone's going to like you, no matter how much you do or try. It's just part of life and navigating that. And I'm sorry that that's the other side to all this that you're doing. That you have to be called a goody two shoes. But what are they
That's all
doing?
right.
People who are
Well,
jealous and hating, I always say, well, what are you doing? Do something. You don't have to like. Don't tune out. Turn off. Don't watch this Instagram if you don't like it. Start your own.
yeah.
But you know what? Like you said, I'm gonna sane board. I'm gonna wish them well, and I hope something, and they're finding love too. Because isn't that what we need? I know it seems cheesy, but can just everybody be nice to each other?
If, say, everyone in the world has art to express themselves instead of hurting other people, then maybe we can prevent the next disaster from happening because people can express themselves in a different way. So then maybe if everyone has art, we could achieve world peace. You never know unless you try.
Are you interested in going into politics at all? What's the age limit for
No, no,
for being
no.
a? Yeah, I know politics is tough. I know. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to turn the mic over to you. Thank you for being a wonderful first guest on my
Um,
interview, and now I'd love to be an honored to be your guest on Chelsea Chat. So, anything you want to know for me?
yes, I actually wrote all my questions down because I have a few. Uh, what does art mean to you? And is there ever a piece of art? Was there ever a piece of art that you really loved, or that you created, or anything?
Um, it's a great question. So, when you say what does art mean to me, uh, art. I think art can be a lot of different things. Like I don't necessarily think it's just a painting, or sometimes the word art people imply painting and so forth. But I like to think of the arts as painting, music, dance, performance, writing, poetry, fiction, all of the above. And growing up, I tried all of those things a little bit. I have a real interest in poetry, and when things get complicated in the world, I sometimes always like to maintain a sort of level of optimism. And when it's hard, I find writing helps me a little bit. Writing poetry of all things. That's something I've recently been doing a little bit. Um, but is there a piece of art that really inspires me? Well, I am, at my heart, I'm an actor and a director too. But I come from sort of storytelling medium, and so I was always gravitated to certain stories. I remember when I was around your age, my favorite movie was Stand by Me, And I just remember the story and the struggles of those kids and even the performances. Growing up, probably my favorite actor of all time is Robin Williams. Rest in peace. Do you know who Robin Williams is?
Yes, he was the genie in Aladdin, and my favorite robot in one of these robot movies. So sad.
I know. Did you ever see Mrs. Doubtfire? He was Mrs. Doubtfire also.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah, he was that good. You didn't even know. I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mrs. Doubtfire is funny.
So I always gravitate towards him because I mean he really was a genius. I mean he just had this constant talent pouring out, this irrepressible sort of comedy and pathos and drama, and he can make you laugh and make you cry in the same line. I feel a little similar about Steve Carell, and those are the artists that I really gravitate towards. When I'm watching something, every now and then I'm like, whoa, I'm laughing and crying, and I don't even know how they did that. And that's something that I always kind of find in roles, when I work on a role, I learned once that you can play every hero like a villain and every villain like a hero, because nothing, it's true, because, a villain doesn't know they're a villain. Like the bully doesn't think they're a bully. They think they're right, and you have to find the humanity in that, where that came from. And the hero, we're not perfect. You have flaws, I'm sure. And even though you're doing heroic things, we have our bad days, and we may not be perfect, and you never know. So I'm working on a documentary now, which was, yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said, oh, that's awesome.
Thank you. And it's been all about actually the creative process. It was one of the things that got me thinking. Yeah, all about a young girl who's actually you're 10, she's 9. We worked together on making a short film, and she wanted to make a short film about a fashion show, and sort of got designers to help her, and she designed all the costumes. So sort of helping her design her own short film, I've also been documenting that while she's also dealing with cancer. Unfortunately, she's been sick. And just kind of seeing the correlation of health and healing and the creative process. So whenever you work on something that's not about you, it ends up being special. It's just kind of the same concept of giving. And when it becomes not about you, it gives it another level of import.
How can people support you? Like, do you have a website or something? Like, maybe you can even raise money for your documentary, maybe. Like, get a whole staff.
Yes, I am continuing to raise money for my documentary. But honestly, I would just say, if you want to help me, help someone else, and donate. And if you're not in a position to donate, volunteer. Donating your time is one of the most generous things you can do, even if you can't donate necessarily from your pocket. And of course, if anyone gave to Chelsea's charity, that would make me very happy as well.
Oh, you were so sweet. I'm telling you, when we get off this, maybe next week, I will have like a 2-hour-long conversation with you over the phone. Because
sure.
I just want to have a conversation with you. You're awesome with totally random topics. You're
Chelsea,
amazing. I love your company.
I love your company. I think, are we becoming friends? Will you be my friend?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. And how can people support you? How can people support you before we get off?
Oh, you can go to www.chelseascharity.com, or you could share on your Instagram, or spread the word to whoever you know. Maybe they'll pass it on, and then their friends will pass it on, then their cousin's friend will pass it on. You never know.
That sounds amazing. I will do that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This has been so great.
Thank you for having me and for your time. This has been so great as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been another Chats with Chelsea, and hopefully an Amir Ass. We're still working on the name.
All right. Take care, everybody. And thank you, Chelsea.
Bye.
All right, bye.